Sometimes it feels like the world's noise is all you can hear. This is 10 Better Minutes, a place to hear stories that don't always make the headlines but deserve a moment of attention. Here, you will find recent, real moments that offer a quieter kind of balance without ignoring the harder realities. I am your host, Ian Rhodes, and I appreciate you joining me for a few minutes today. These stories invite us to notice the steady, hopeful parts of the world that go on, even when they are not the loudest. We will begin with a story about two sisters in Gaza who have found a way to turn rubble into new building materials, helping their community rebuild through teaching and care. When Tala Musa, at 17, and her sister Farah Musa, at 15, faced the loss of their home in Gaza, they chose to build forward instead of waiting. Their project, Build Hope Palestine, turns damaged building rubble into reusable, non-load-bearing blocks. The process starts with crushing and sieving the debris, then mixing it with locally available binders such as clay, ash, or glass powder, before molding the material and letting it dry. Out of what used to be broken, they make pieces that can become garden beds, pavements, and partitions, giving communities practical ways to restore small, everyday spaces. And their good action did not stay small for long. Their work was recognized when they were named the Middle East winners in the Earth Prize 2026. More than an award, that moment reflects the way their idea can spread. Build Hope Palestine is designed around hands-on workshops that gather young people, teach the method, and produce blocks together. Their immediate workshop goal is to bring 100 young people together to make at least 200 blocks, with the plan to expand the impact to more than 1,000 people. It is a kind of hope that feels tangible, not a promise of instant change, but a steady practice of turning debris into usefulness and neighbors into teammates. I often think of the smallest moments on a shoreline, like a single person noticing something out of place. This story reminds us how quickly compassion can turn into action, even when time feels tight. A jogger on a beach at Brenton-on-Sea in South Africa spotted an African penguin lying face down, with its beak pressed into the sand and its head buried. Instead of walking past, the jogger called for help right away. Wildlife veterinarian Catherine Howe, with a medical assistant, rushed in to meet the moment. They found the penguin weak and motionless, and they moved carefully, using a towel and a simple box to transport it to a nearby veterinary clinic. There, urgent care started with what the penguin needed most. The team treated dehydration with electrolytes and also addressed a small wound on its abdomen, likely from a predator attack. It was not a case of guessing what to do next. Catherine coordinated the next step too, arranging follow-up rehabilitation at a specialist sanctuary. Soon, the penguin was on a path forward that mattered. It would spend time recovering, monitored, and supported before it could eventually be released back into the wild. It is a gentle kind of hope, the kind you can feel in practical details. One call, one careful ride, one clinic visit that becomes a whole plan for returning home. It is easy to think entrepreneurship starts with adults and big office desks, but here's a story that begins in a home workshop in Brownsville, Texas, with a careful plan and a child's determination. Ernesto Gael Hernandez started small, making custom keychains for classmates. Instead of spending his money as soon as it came in, he saved about $500 from chore work and other earnings until he could buy his first 3D printer. With that printer, he taught himself how to design his own items using online tutorials, then began Prestige 3D Labs. At first, it was just a few creations like keychains and fidget-style pieces, but the momentum grew. Today, 3 printers run regularly so he can keep up with orders, along with other products such as whistles and can openers. He also found a real path to customers by partnering with Jungle, a local clothing store in Brownsville where his items are available to shoppers. By his own count, he has made around $1,500 in profit so far. More than the money, though, the business created steady, shared time with his mother, Samantha Cazada, who encouraged him to work and save for what he wanted. Ernesto is building toward a meaningful goal, too, investing in a house for his mom and himself, one thoughtful print at a time. You know that moment when someone walks in from doing their hobby, and suddenly the whole house feels a little tense before anyone even says a word? This story is about turning that pause into something gentler. Dallin and Ashley Dashley found their way through it with a playful do and Don T slideshow. Dallin goes golfing for a round that can stretch 3 to 5 hours, and when he comes home, he is tired and extremely grouchy. Instead of letting the mood settle into the day, Ashley prepared a PowerPoint-style skit for him, and she captioned it like a simple question. "So you got home from golfing, now what?" The first slide welcomes him back, and it even says, "I missed you guys," followed by a line that makes everyone laugh. "What are we going to do today?" Then she asks for the kind of shift that really changes the temperature of a room. She wants him to give a short monologue thanking her and to help facilitate anything he needs while he is home. It is not about winning an argument. It is about making sure both people know what to expect. What lands for me is how clear communication can feel like kindness in plain sight. When couples talk directly about needs and responsibilities, resentment has less room to grow and the everyday returns to being shared again. Sometimes the hardest part of fostering is not the willingness to help, but finding a path that makes it possible to stay steady for the long haul. In England, a new fostering innovation fund is trying to loosen the squeeze, so more children can be matched with trusted adults in ways that actually fit real life. The government launched a $12.4 million fund to modernize fostering and expand support, because the number of approved fostering households has been falling. By the end of March 2025, there were 42,190 fostering households, down steadily since 2021, according to Ofsted. That decline matters, since it can make it harder to match the right family with the right child at the right time. And it can be tough for new carers to step forward, and for existing carers to manage what the system demands. One approach, called Weekenders, led by Now Foster, focuses on regular weekend or sleepover relationships when full-time fostering is not possible. Shanice met her carer, Sarah, when Sarah was 26, and they began with weekend visits and theater trips. What started as a flexible rhythm grew into a relationship that lasted more than 12 years. In Greater Manchester, another model called Room Makers provided a $7,800 grant to reconfigure a carer's home, helping her care for siblings. It is not a magic fix, and fostering will always require care, training, and safeguarding. But this feels like a hopeful shift toward realism, the kind of hope that says connection can grow even when the first step looks different. As always, I have a helpful tip for you today, something simple you can do right after your emotions have been running the show. If you have felt overloaded, rattled, or just too full inside, this is your gentle body reset. Today's tip is about doing a short physical reset to help your nervous system come back online, so your mind does not have to carry everything alone. Start by finding one stable position. Sit with both feet on the floor, or stand with your knees softly unlocked. Then take one slow breath in through your nose and let it out longer than you took it in. As you exhale, relax your jaw and drop your shoulders a little. Now do a quick scan from head to toe. Notice where your body is holding tension and choose one spot to soften. You do not need to fix anything, just give that area permission to loosen. If your hands are clenched, open them. If your belly is tight, let it be a little less guarded. Finally, take 2 minutes for a small pulse of care. Drink a few sips of water or place a hand on your chest and breathe with it. Then ask yourself, what is one kind action I can take for my body right now? All right, friends, we have reached the end of today's 10 Better Minutes episode. I hope it landed somewhere gentle in your day, especially if you have been feeling worn down by all the noise out there. The bigger point is simple and steady. People still show up with care, communities still solve problems, and kindness still exists in quiet, ordinary ways. It does not erase the hard stuff, but it balances the picture in a way that feels real. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.